In order to borrow money from financial institutions, you must have a good credit history. Your credit history is a record of how you've borrowed money and repaid your debts to creditors in the past. Lenders analyze your past borrowing behavior by using a credit report, which is a document that outlines your credit history. Understanding what creditors are looking for in a credit report will help you manage your credit risk. A credit report contains personal information like your address and employer, a record of your recent request for credit, and any public records such as bankruptcy or tax liens. It also contains information about every credit account you've opened, and whether you've paid on time, and any debts outstanding. Late payments or high outstanding balances relative to your total credit available are warning signs that you might be at credit risk. Companies will either deny your request for credit or have you pay a higher interest rate for what you borrow. Maintaining a good credit score will save you interest costs and the hassle of going to several banks. Whenever you apply for new credit, whether it is a credit card, a loan, or a lease agreement, the potential creditor has the right to check your credit report. The creditors will analyze your historical accounts, types of accounts, account terms, maximum credit limits, highest balances ever charged, and your recent balance. Also, there are comments about the current statuses of your accounts, inquiries into your accounts, and your pattern of usage. All this information helps to determine your credit. Your credit score is typically based on whether you've made payments on time, the total balance you owe compared to your total available credit, how long you've had a credit history, how much new credit you have, and the kinds of credit you have. The most important component is your ability to pay back credit on time. Credit scores typically range from 300 to 850, though different companies use different scoring models, and the ranges vary slightly. The better your credit history, the higher your credit score, and the more likely you are to be approved for credit or offered a favorable rate. Since your credit history affects your credit score, it may seem difficult to start building credit. There are ways to start building your credit if no financial institution will offer you a loan or a credit card. You can apply for a retail store card or gasoline card. Although they might be limited in where you can use the cards, if you pay your bills on time, you will start building credit worthiness. If you're having trouble getting credit, don't apply for too many cards, even if you think one will eventually approve you. This can actually damage your credit score because too many inquiries have a negative effect on your score. If you are denied credit, the potential lender must send you a letter that tells you why or instructs you on how to contact them for more information about the reasons. They also have to give you the name and the contact information for the credit reporting agency that provided them with your report. If your application is turned down because of your credit score, you're entitled to a free credit report within 60 days of when you were turned down. It is recommended that you request for credit reports because there may be mistakes. The big credit reporting agencies are FICO, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. Even if you aren't denied credit, you are still able to order 3 free credit reports a year. These can be very useful if you want to spot identity theft or errors before you are denied. If you are heavily burdened by debt, the first step is collecting all of your bills and writing down the total debt you owe. Then figure out how much you need to set aside from each paycheck to pay off your debts, starting with one that charges the highest interest rate. There are professionals and nonprofits that will assist you in creating a unique payoff plan for your creditors. A credit counselor will also help you come up with a new spending plan to bring your finances under control. Bankruptcy can seriously impair your ability to obtain credit or employment for years, so think carefully before choosing this option. Bankruptcy should also always be considered only as a last resort, and involves filing a petition in court saying that you have no assets with which to pay your debts. There are 2 kinds of bankruptcy. A Chapter 7 bankruptcy means that you sell your assets to pay creditors and ask to be released from any debts that you can't cover. This will stay on your credit record for 10 years. The next type is Chapter 13 bankruptcy. A Chapter 13 bankruptcy means you must comply with a court-approved plan to use your salary to pay creditors over the next 3 to 5 years. This bankruptcy carries less stigma than Chapter 7 and will stay on your credit report for 7 years. Credit scores and histories are a lot like trust in that they take a long time to build but can be broken easily. Improving your credit score starts with making payments on time. It also helps to limit the number of credit cards you carry and avoid opening new lines of credit unnecessarily. Another way to improve your credit score is to remain at least 50% below your credit limit. Regularly high balances suggest emerging credit problems. It is important to protect your good credit history from mistakes and fraudulent use, so that only you enjoy the benefits of your financial discipline. Be aware of the following threats. Identity theft is where someone obtains your personal information. He or she may be able to use your credit card or open a new credit account, both of which will damage your credit history. Another scam is telephone fraud, where telemarketers call and try to convince you into providing confidential information. Online fraud, which takes place on the internet, is a common type of scam. You will be asked to confirm your account information by entering what appears to be a legitimate website. Instead of sending the information to a company or a bank, scammers will intercept the information. As long as you detect fraud and report it, you will usually not be required to pay for fraudulent charges. See the additional reading on identity theft to learn how you can protect yourself and report fraud.